read a section from page 3, paragraph 3. It is important for ethnic studies to document the experiences of people of color in order for students to construct counter-narratives and develop a more complex understanding of human experience. Through these studies, students should develop respect for cultural diversity and see the advantage of inclusion. I looked up race and ethnicity and found a comparison from Merriam-Webster. Race is defined as a category of humankind that shares certain distinctive physical traits among people of a shared ancestry. Ethnicity is defined as large groups of people classed according to common racial, national, tribal, religious, linguistic, or cultural origin or background. The study of ethnicity is to learn about your nationality, your heritage, your culture, your ancestry, and your upbringing. The concept of ethnicity contrasts with that of race in that it's concerned with group cultural identity or experiences, whereas race focuses on physical and biogenetic traits. I hope that our ethnic studies class will focus on ethnicity more than just race. I hope that this class will explore different religious beliefs, indigenous cultures, different nationalities, and ancestry. I hope that all nationalities will be represented to increase student appreciation of the numerous cultures, religions, and nationalities in our world. I hope that this course will look at history as just that, past history, that has evolved. When you know better, you do better. I hope that this class gives credit to the civil rights movement and not dwell on past practices to try to make generalizations or place blame for actions taken hundreds of years ago in a very different time when societal norms were very much different than they are today. It concerns me when I see course outlines that include statements like the role of power and privilege in historical, political, socio-economic, and economic systems, and the words dominance, oppressed, resistance, and injustice. I worry that this class could become a tool to further a political agenda rather than an exploration of the varied and diverse cultures that compromise the inhabitants of this beautiful planet. I hope you'll think about that.
Second of all, one of the main resources from which the courses take is this book, A Different Mirror for Young People, A History of Multicultural America. As Mrs. Meyer was talking, the first part of what she said, I thought she was describing the book. It does talk about the strengths, the history of different groups and how they've formulated and joined into our society. That is what we're teaching. And I just want to make those 2 points that I am reading this book. I love it. And it strengthens my love for America because I can see all the beautiful bringing in of multiple cultures. And that's what we're teaching.
Good evening. I would like to illuminate some issues with the sole book that is being used for ethnic studies pilot program. I believe it was held up last meeting, A Different Mirror for Young People by Ronald Takaki. My question is, should this one book for our ethnic studies program celebrate merit and triumph of people from different ethnicities, or should we approach the ethnic studies through the lens of being victimized? Which would be more inspiring to our students? Which would cause industrious and creative endeavors, and which would cause anger and activism? Does this book meet the goal of the ethnic studies course for our community? The adults in charge of crafting the details of our ethnic studies program must be careful to avoid the activist agenda that's being used by special interest groups to push a political narrative at the expense of our students' education. If we are to inspire kids from various cultures, we must take great care to include all the trauma of our American past, alongside the incredible contributions and celebrations from people of all ethnic backgrounds. This book doesn't do any lifting. There is no celebration in this book, no light, unless you count the final chapter on activism. Missing are stories like Booker T. Washington, educator, reformer, one of the most influential Black leaders of his time. He preached a philosophy of self-help, racial solidarity and accommodation, and he urged blacks to accept discrimination for the time being and concentrate on elevating themselves through hard work and education. And it's in his words. It's not a summary of several other books. Actually, in his words, he was there. We should listen. Frederick Douglass, he has a very rich story, but mention of him in the first book is reduced down to instances that only illustrate his conflict with 3 white men. This is an irresponsible summary of this man's life, and it degrades his memory. This is what he said. I have no hesitation in telling you that I think the colored people and their friends make a great mistake in saying so much of race and color. I know no such basis for the claims of justice. I do now and have always attached more importance to manhood than to mere kinship or identity with any variety of human family. He celebrates it differently. This man celebrates it differently. This damns almost everything, and we need to listen to people that were actually there and during that time that is illustrated in this book. I don't know how much time I have left. I would like to suggest using a collection of books that celebrate ethnic diversity through individuals that obtain success through their own merits.
Thank you, Ms.
And please bring autobiographies into the Ethnic Studies program.